Okay, let's dive right into this. Have you ever looked at a price tag and just assumed that because something is cheap, it must not be very valuable? Or on the flip side, that a super expensive luxury item is inherently meaningful? Honestly, it's a trap we all fall into, especially in today's highly commercialized world. Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack a brilliant historical riddle that perfectly separates the concept of true value from mere price. We'll be looking at a classic tale featuring the legendary wit of a man named Tenali Rama, and how he proved to an entire royal court that we often overlook the absolutely most crucial things in life simply because, well, they don't cost us a dime.
So, to truly appreciate this, let's set the scene with part 1, a unique and difficult challenge. Picture this. We're traveling back in time to the grand, incredibly opulent court of King Krishnadevaraya in 16th century India. Imagine the sheer wealth of this place. The gold, the finest silks, the jewels, status was literally everything. But on this particular day, standing before his gathered court of nobles and scholars, the king issues a fascinating challenge. He declares that he's going to give a massive reward to the person who can bring him something that is the absolute cheapest thing in the world, but simultaneously the most deeply valuable. Talk about a royal mystery box, right? This isn't just a request for a gift, it's this profound philosophical puzzle. I mean, how can something cost next to nothing, yet be worth absolutely everything?
Now, before we see what happened next, what would you bring to the king? Seriously, I want you to pause for a second and just think about it. What fits that exact description? A breath of air? A kind word? A piece of string? The courtiers were just as baffled, and they had exactly one day to figure out how to solve this impossible riddle and claim the king's magnificent prize. Let's see how the greatest minds of the kingdom actually attempted to solve this.
Fast forward to the next day and we arrive at part 2, the courtiers' failed attempts.
You can easily imagine the scramble and the nervous energy in that room. The courtiers arrived, totally eager to win the king's favor, having probably racked their brains all night for clever loopholes. And they stepped forward, one by one, with highly practical, essential items. One brought salt, very cheap to get, but absolutely essential for human biology and preserving food. Another brought a vessel of water, and another brought a handful of grain. Honestly, these are really great, logical answers, but then there was Tenali Rama, historically known as the smartest and wittiest man in the room, and he arrives completely empty-handed. The king looks at him and asks, "Did you bring nothing?" To everyone else, it looks like the great Tenali Rama has simply given up.
Which brings us right to part 3, the secret of a handful of dust.
Now this is Tenali Rama we're talking about. He never does anything without a reason. The tension in the room is palpable. The king is questioning him directly, and the other courtiers are watching closely, probably getting ready to mock him for failing such a public challenge. But Tenali doesn't panic. He makes zero excuses. Instead, he calmly turns his back, walks right outside the magnificent palace doors, bends down to the ground, and scoops up a handful of mere dust. He walks right back into the grand jewel-encrusted court and places this literal dirt right in front of the king. As you might expect, the courtiers just absolutely burst into laughter. Dust is a royal gift. It seems insulting. It seems absolutely entirely worthless. They think he's finally made a total fool of himself. But Tenali Rama simply smiles as the room laughs. And then he delivers this profound philosophical breakdown. He tells the king, "Consider this mere dust. 1. This very dirt is the foundation of our fields, where seeds grow into the grain that feeds armies and empires. 2. It is this exact earth that we bake into bricks to build these very palaces, and the pots we eat from. 3. Because of this, it literally sustains all life on this planet. And 4, perhaps most profoundly, in the very end, every single human being, king or peasant, is absorbed back into this exact same dirt. It is the cheapest thing in the entire world. You can literally pick it up off the ground for absolutely free, but without it, life itself is impossible."
So, the absolutely crucial point here is how the king reacts to this staggering shift in perspective. The mocking laughter in the court dies down instantly. The king sits in silence, thinks for a moment about the profound truth of those words, and then comes to a really powerful realization. What appears ordinary is often the most priceless. He immediately declares Tenali Rama the winner. He praises him for revealing the true significance of something so incredibly ordinary that everyone else literally walks all over it every single day. And the entire court, which was laughing just moments before, erupts into genuine applause at this undeniable wisdom.
So what does this all mean for us today? Let's get into our final section, the lesson of value versus price.
It is a fantastic, brilliantly told historical story. But even though our world looks very different from King Krishnadevaraya's court, human nature hasn't really changed at all.
The core lesson here is that an object's real value isn't determined by how much currency you exchange for it or its market rarity. Instead, true value is measured entirely by its importance, its utility, and how it sustains or enriches life. Today, we live in a society obsessed with luxury, brands, and high costs, often confusing a high price with high value. Actually, scratch that. We do it all the time. We think an expensive watch is infinitely more valuable than a good night's sleep simply because one has a monetary cost and the other doesn't. But Tenali's handful of dust proves that the foundations of human survival, joy, and meaning are often completely free of charge.
Which brings us to our final, thought-provoking question for today's explainer. What is that cheap or completely free thing in your own life without which your life would be impossible? Is it a daily walk outside? Is it a quick conversation with an old friend? Is it those quiet, peaceful moments you get first thing in the morning? Or maybe it's just your health, something we rarely value until it's threatened. It is so incredibly easy to get distracted by the shiny, expensive things and take our own handfuls of dust for granted. So take a moment today to identify the true, priceless value in your life, regardless of its market price. Thanks for exploring this fascinating concept with me, and keep questioning what truly matters.